question is, how much longer are you going to tolerate this? Because seeking external validation is the fastest way to betray yourself. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I used to be this girl 100%. And if you're the person that's speed dialing your friends the second something is happening in your life and you're needing to chat over it 100 times to just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy, right? This is what's happening. That's not weird. That's not crazy. Or if you're uncertain which Instagram to post because you feel like you need a whole committee to approve that the photo that you're posting is good enough. If you're seeking male attention more than anything because you just finally want to get the attention you deserve, and you're struggling with rejection because other opinions about you make you feel like an emotional yo-yo, then this video is exactly what you need to satisfy yourself, feel confident, to feel sure about yourself, that you don't need the external validation to feel whole. This video will help you with two things. One, you will raise your standards that those types of people are actually no longer in your life. And two, you will actually have a quality of life that is so much better than you could possibly ever imagine. And there's actually a third one. You will experience peace that no one will ever able to interrupt because you no longer seek the external validation. The problem with the external validation is you're basically saying to yourself, I don't trust myself, I don't trust my own opinion, I need other opinions to give myself the go that what I'm feeling, that what I'm going through is absolutely crazy and I can't be the only one feeling this way. Because quite frankly, you're telling everyone else has a PhD in your emotions and you don't know what your emotions are about. It is time to turn out the other people's opinion hotline and to tune in into your own. Because if you're going to keep going this path, you're going to see yourself chasing external validation. You will never feel good enough. You will lose yourself. You will find it very difficult to love yourself. When you're chasing others and still not feeling fulfilled, it's because you've never built a supportive home that you love coming back to. The question is, how do we minimize your independence so you actually feel fully fulfilled on your own without needing validation externally, so that you will be able to regulate your emotions and feelings on a much deeper level? Seeking validation actually shows up in 4 different ways. I will go through each and every one so you can understand which one are you struggling, or maybe you're struggling with multiple, and how you can actually use the information and get out of this hole. The first one is romantic and male validation. This one is one that a lot of us struggle with, and I know it's so annoying and you just don't want it and you feel like, I don't even want to get that attention, but you can't help it but seeking validation from partners, romantic relationships, and you just want the attention. And I can tell you, when I was dumped pregnant, I felt like I didn't even want a male attention in a way that I was like, I want everyone to want, but I just wanted someone to support me. Like, was it that asked too much? Like, can someone just support me right now and also hold my hand and just tell me everything is going to be fine? And can it be someone? Why do I go through this on my own? Is there not a person that can show me that I'm beautiful and that I'm worth it? And I felt like, oh my gosh, like if just someone would give me that, and I get it, like especially if you haven't had it so long, because I've known, I just talked to someone who got out of a really long relationship, and I know this feeling of, it's been 5 years, I didn't get ever told that I'm beautiful, I was neglected, now it's my time, now it's my freaking time. But I'm telling you, the second you get, especially if you're getting out of relationships, do not talk to any men, unless as friends, do not talk to men, do not entertain anyone, do not go on dating apps, just really be on your own for at least a year. And I know people hate me for saying that, but not being in any situations where you could possibly get that attention and that quick fix in a way is going to make your self-worth so much stronger. You're going to repel people that you don't want in your life, because the problem with being in such a vulnerable state, you're a very easy prey for narcissistic people that love bomb you, and you feel like, oh my God, finally. That's not what you want. People who bring calmness in your life. You want people in your life that make you feel calm, collected, not the exciting butterflies. And as much as you want those butterflies, maybe that's not a good long-term relationship. And so really staying single, not entertaining anyone, not talking to anyone, not seeking that, just really being with yourself, with your own emotions, will help you so much with seeking validation, because it's been 2 years that I haven't talked to anyone. I'm not entertaining anyone. I'm just really on my own, focusing on my child. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I'm not falling for anyone who's trying to offer me anything, because I just know now what I want. Like, I know for certain what type of person I want in my life eventually. I know what type of qualities, what kind of beliefs, what kind of values. All these things are so certain now in my life that I know that I want, that I'm not going to fall for anybody unless that person brings that quality into my life and I can bring a quality into their life that will be a good fit. But yeah, not dating for a year. It's the easiest quick fix you can do in order to stop seeking male validation. The next one is a pretty tough one. I think a lot of us struggle with it as well, is social media validation. We feel like our worth is dependent on how many likes we get, how many followers we have, how many people are interesting and find our stuff cool or funny or whatever. And so this is a huge problem, seeking validation. And I think my biggest fix for that was actually getting off TikTok, because when I was on TikTok, I felt like you would get such a rush from a lot of followers, a lot of likes and stuff, and then there was actually not that much substance behind it. And now on YouTube, I feel like you don't get this quick, like, oh my gosh, in seconds you have like so many people interested in your content. You actually, and it was such a weird difference for me coming from TikTok and being used to this quick reward in a sense. And on YouTube, I post a video and it has like 3 views, 4 views, 5 views, and you just like slowly get more views rather than this dopamine of like, damn, everyone likes your post and then it's dead after 24 hours or even less. Like whenever I used to post on Instagram, on TikTok, it would get just a rush of likes and then would just completely dunk and there would be nothing, and it would feel just like, oh my God, I gotta post again because I'm gonna wanna feel this next high. And I think with YouTube, it helped me just focusing on deeper connections. Every time I get a comment on my YouTube video, they're so much more in depth. They're so much more interested in the subject I'm talking about. And so I think that way also I stopped chasing that validation of just a lot of people liking what I'm doing, rather focusing on the right people that I want connecting with my content. Another thing you could do regarding social media is block people that make you feel triggered, that maybe are in the same niche and they talk about the same thing and their content isn't as good and they get all these followers and all these likes and you feel so discouraged because like, why are they so much better than me? And it keeps you down. And just getting rid in your feed of people that make you feel jealous, that people that make you feel uncomfortable, get rid of them. Follow people that actually inspire you rather than people who make you feel like you're not good enough. I felt that a way when I was really into business and I was seeing people making a certain amount of money. I would be like, oh my gosh, like how the hell, like are they doing all this crazy stuff? And I was making really good money and I still felt this way. And so getting rid of those accounts that make you feel like you're not good enough is also a way for you to stop feeling put so much importance on the topic of social media and rather just use it if you actually want to learn something, if you want to get educated on something, if you want to be entertained, of course, but that way you can also limit the amount of importance that it has in your life regarding trying to keep up with everyone. The last thing I recommend you regarding social media, set yourself goals that you actually not posting on social media. There's so many goals that I set myself that I'm not sharing on social media, like silly goals like finishing a sweater maybe, because I'm knitting sometimes. I'm knitting actually a lot. Goals regarding my daughter. I don't share goals that I achieve with my daughter. Yeah, so there's certain goals I don't share on social media. These are goals I have with my daughter. These are milestones I reach with my daughter. I really keep them to myself. I don't like to share them as much. And just having goals in your life that are not related to social media also helps you not seeking that validation online. The next one I have for you is family validation. This one is a tough one because we can't choose our family and we love our families. Sometimes we don't, but it's really tough sometimes because you want to get that validation from your family. You want to make sure that what you're doing is good, that what you're doing is supported, and that you align with the values, and that not always is the case. And so especially with academics, that can be a tough one. Family have put pressures on people a lot of times on academic validation. And so focusing on your own values, focusing what is something that I actually truly value, what is something that is important to me, and just focusing more on that rather than what are my parents' values? What are they focusing on? What is something that I believe in so that I can focus on and progress in and make steps towards. And so that way you feel you accomplish something you set yourself. And whether your family likes it or not, I know that's a tough one, you can be proud of yourself for achieving that. The other thing to keep in mind with family is reframe success. What does success actually mean? What is it that makes you successful? Is it pleasing your parents, or is it actually achieving something that you can be proud of, that you worked really hard on, that you accomplished recently, or that you're working on currently? What is the path right now that you're on? And so really reflecting on your own perspective on what it actually means to have success. The fourth one is something I already kind of touched base on, and it's academic validation. I know this is a huge one. I struggle with this because I really want to have good grades, and just wanting to achieve and make everyone, your teachers happy, your parents happy, yourself happy, and that focus on the academic success is something that a lot of people struggle with, and the validation that we're trying to get outside is super, super critical these days. What I recommend you do is try to have a more holistic approach to academic success. Recognizing that academic success is just one part of the success story. Just because you got a bad grade doesn't mean that your whole essay wasn't good. Just because someone gave you, I actually had a teacher one time who gave me a really bad grade in French, even though I knew I could fluently speak, but my writing was bad. But it doesn't mean that when I'm in France and I want to talk to people that I actually can order baguette, I can do certain things, I can communicate with people. But in class, I wasn't good at the grammar. Like, I would make a lot of spelling mistakes and I wouldn't get good grades, in the sense that I thought, oh my gosh, like if anyone else would go to Paris, they wouldn't be able to order a single croissant. And I'm over here getting worse grades than someone who's perfectly writing down the grammar. And I would compare myself to others and would feel so discouraged because I felt like that wasn't the right one. And I think sometimes we got to understand that the school system also is not really sometimes designed on how the reality of life is, because the most important part is, I think, when you go to countries, that you actually can talk to the people, that you can communicate, and not that you're going to say, this is in this past tense, you write it this way, and future present, you have to say it this way. And so I think sometimes recognizing that the system is sometimes so designed for linear thinking rather than what's the actual world needing, and just taking that power away from it also helps you to understand that not every bad grade you're getting is maybe a reflection on how well you are at the subject. And lastly, a really important part is just to celebrate your effort, not just the result. Like, how much effort did you put in? You can be so proud how much you put in. And even if the grade doesn't represent that, you can be proud of the process you made that took you there, because that effort, that discipline, you can apply in different areas of your life, not just in that one test that you maybe failed or didn't do well, but the effort you put in is something that no one can take away from you. The last thing I want you to remember, and that was the biggest learning for me, is when I was going through a really tough time, I would try to talk to friends, try to have them comfort me, understand my point of view. And sometimes friends would say things that absolutely would trigger me and would send me off the roof, because I was like, how on earth could you say that? But then I really had to understand, and I worked this through therapy, was that people have not gone through what you've been through. People have not gone through the extent that you went. They did not go through the same experience. They don't feel the same feelings as you. They don't recognize the same emotions that are coming up regarding a certain topic. And so some people will never understand what you went through. Some people will never understand fully, and you can't expect them. No one will ever understand what I went through. I realized for myself that no one will ever understand the extent that I went through. They can have sympathy, and a lot of people who hear my story feel extremely touched by it and shocked by it. The things people would tell me on the regular basis of, oh my God, you got f***ed over like no one else before. But to the actual extent, what it actually meant for me, what the trauma, maybe my mom could see it the most, but anyone else didn't recognize and understand to the extent what it actually means to be a single mom, what it actually means to be betrayed by people you're really close for years, to be financially abused, to be humiliated, and to be thrown under the bus. And just to the extent of betrayal that was just so recognizable, and that I'm still healing from. And I just had to come to the conclusion, and it's not this victim mentality, no one understands me. It's really about like, really no one understands you, because no one lived your life. No one has gone through what you went through. And so understanding that when you talk to other people and they're not giving you the reaction, and they're like, oh, just it's not that bad. You're like, excuse me, did you go through this? Excuse me, have you gone? Have you heard? Have you been there? No. So don't give me that opinion. And the easiest way for not getting that opinion is to not ask for people's opinion. And I know it's sometimes good to reflect, but the types of people you're reflecting with can make a huge difference. I know people I talk to about certain things, and I know people I don't talk to about certain things, because I know they will never understand, and it's okay. And yes, be open-minded to critique. This is not about like people not being able to share their opinions with you, because that is important, but it's about recognizing that a lot of people will never understand the extent you went through, and so they cannot give you that. Only yourself. I know for myself what's true. I know for myself how it felt when everything went down. I know for myself that I have it black and white on paper a lot of times because it was gone through lawyers. I was like, I have it writing here. Like, yes, they're posting this, but I have it right here. It's written. I can see exactly what went through. And just know it for yourself. Know that for yourself. It's the best way to not feel crazy, to not feel gaslit by anyone. And I hope this helps you. I wish you so much strength in this process, and don't expect you to never seek validation tomorrow or even a week or a year from now. Just know that the more you work on it, the less bothered you're gonna be, the more confident you're gonna be, and the better people you're gonna attract into your life. And so yeah, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you enjoy videos like that, come stick around.